Welcome to Morrigan's Cottage. Morrigan's Cottage is a 200-year-old cottage set in Ireland's beautiful and wild west, sitting on just about 4 acres of land. The land is overgrown and the cottage has started to deteriorate after being left vacant for a number of years. But my name's Aisling, this is my dog Morrigan and my cat Vanya, and together we're going to bring this cottage and land back to its former glory. Follow us along through the surprises, the headaches and successes in bringing back the character to this lovely old home, and in turning the land into a biodiverse cottage garden and home rescue to animals in the future. Hello there and welcome back to Morrigan's Cottage. My name is Aisling. This little girl down here is Morrigan, who the cottage is named after, and if you can't tell, we've been at the cottage and we've been hard at work. The mask has left a big old mark all around my face and I'm dusty and I'm dirty. But welcome back to Morrigan's Cottage. So today's... You've said hello. Where's your ball? Go get your ball. So today's video is coming off of the back of getting approved for the vacancy grant. For those of you who don't know, here in Ireland there is a grant system where basically if you buy an old house like this one here, or it doesn't have to be that old, I think it's as long as it's over like 2007 or something like that. If the house has been empty and not lived in for over 2 years, you can apply for a grant of up to €50,000 to do renovations on your house. If your house is considered derelict, so if you get an engineer's report to say that the house isn't stable, structurally there's problems, etc., you can then apply for a top-up grant of 20,000 on top of that. So you could get up to 70,000 to rebuild a home that's kind of like this one. So this house technically is structurally unsound. The roof timbers are not up to code. The roof isn't structurally stable, and also some of the walls aren't structurally stable. So this house could have qualified for the derelict grant, but I don't have €70,000. It was a struggle to get to 50. So we just went with the vacant grant. Now, one thing to note with the grant, if you're looking to get this yourself, you have to pay for everything up front and then claim the grant back at the end. So you need 50 or 70,000 euros kind of in your own pocket to be able to basically avail of the grant, because you get the money back from the county council at the very end. So that's something that I don't think a lot of people know, is that you do have to have the money up front. Now, if you're in my situation, I have a mortgage on this house and I basically went to my bank and I said, look, need to do lots of renovations on this house. Can I get a loan for 50,000? They said no. And they came back and they were like, would you take a loan for 30,000? And I was like, yes, sign me up, absolutely. And then the rest, the other 20, I have to kind of figure out and find for myself, which thankfully I did have a little bit of savings left that can top me up just about to the 50. And I'm going to have to do some hardcore saving just to finish that off. But basically, that is the situation with the grant. As long as your house has been empty for 2 years and no one's been living here and you can prove that, and you have 50 to 70,000 euros that you can access either from the bank or through your savings or whatever means you can get it, you can avail of this grant. So that's what I did a year ago when I bought this house on November 28, 2023. I started collecting all the documents that you need to apply for the grant. So basically, to keep it short and sweet, you need an application form, you need quotes from builders that are going to be doing the work in your house, and you need your proof that the house is A, yours, B, has been empty for 2 years, and C, that your personal taxes are paid and up to date, and that your local property tax is paid, if applicable. Some houses don't have to pay local property tax. I don't really know what the stipulation there is, but this house does have to pay it, so we had to make sure that was up to date. So that's the situation with the grant. That is the grant that we applied for back in May. Now, every county council runs its own grant. They roughly follow the same rules, but there is a little bit of difference from council to council in how they do things and how they pay for things and how they organise things. So make sure to always double check with your county council with what you're doing, because like I said, each county council is a little bit different. So I won't say the county I'm in just for privacy or protection or whatever, but my county council is a little bit slower than other county councils. They're short-staffed, so they're a tiny bit slower. So I applied for this grant back at the very end of May, very start of June. And it took the council about a week to get back to me and just say, look, we need 3 additional documents that were not part of the checklist on the application form, but it is county council to county council. So make sure you do double check with your county council if they want anything else. To give you an idea of the extra documents that they were looking for from me, they wanted proof my septic tank was registered. So if you have a septic tank, make sure you have your cert. Second one was I had to go to a lawyer, sign a declaration that I'd never received the grant before on this house or any other house. And thirdly, I had to get planning exemption. So I'm not doing anything to the house that requires planning permission. So because of that, I have to get planning exemption, which is basically a cert to say that nothing I'm doing to the house requires planning permission. That unfortunately slowed me down. The county council, very short staffed. What normally should take 3 to 4 weeks took 8 weeks to get that back. So that slowed us right down to August when we submitted the final documents to the grant officer. And they basically came back and said, great, we'll get back to you when we have a date for the inspection. So that was the end of August. We waited. Then it was mid to the end of September and I contacted them again. They were like, oh, it's with the engineer that's going to come out and do the inspection. You should hear from him in 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks went by. I heard nothing, so I sent a follow-up email. Then another week went by and I heard nothing, so I called. And they basically just said that the engineer had been out sick, they're down an engineer, and they're short-staffed, and they're really sorry they'd get back to me when they could. Another week went by, and we're coming up to the end of October. I was getting a bit anxious because we've no heating, and, you know, I kind of have a builder who, whilst I don't have an exact start date for the builder kind of has an idea of when he might be able to squeeze me in. I have the funds ready because I got them from the bank. So the only thing I was waiting for was to get this grant inspection done, because you have to have your first inspection before A, you can move in, or B, you can start the work. Now, I live up in Dublin. The house is on the west of Ireland, so that meant that anytime I wanted to come to the house, I couldn't stay over, and I also had to drive up and down 2.5 hours each way, so it wasn't an ideal situation. Anyway, got back onto the grant office after a week of not hearing anything again, and spoke to the engineer, lovely guy, and he was like, apologetic, he's crazy busy, what can you do? But that he would get me in the following week. Wednesday comes around, he calls, I'm going to come tomorrow, Halloween, so that was October 31st. And morning of October 31st, knock at the door, here he was. To give you an idea of what the inspection looked like for me, very quick, 10 minutes at most. He took photos of the front of the house, he took a couple of photos of every room in the house, and he asked me a couple of questions, just an idea of what I was doing. Very informal, very quick, very easy, not scary at all. I was a bit worried. I was like mentally prepared that he was going to ask me questions on costings and, you know, buildy things that I wouldn't really necessarily know the answer to. So I'd like prepped a whole spiel of what I was going to do and everything like that, but he didn't need it. So he just said, look, he's happy, go ahead with the work. You've got verbal approval, written approval will follow in 2 to 3 weeks, but we're good to go. So with that being said, now that we've granted approval, A, I've been able to stay down here the last few days. B, we're able to start the work, and I don't have a C, so that's the whole thing. So what I've decided to do in this video today is bring around the house and give you an idea of exactly what we're going to get done, because the hope is in about a month's time, or 3 weeks or so, we will start seeing some progress and some movement on this house getting renovated. So I made a previous video months and months and months ago about my ideas of what I think is going to get done, but we have more of a solid plan thanks to Joe, the engineer, who's been helping me out with everything. He's been working with the builders to try and make a plan of what we can do to maximise the amount of stuff that we can get done with the money that I have. Now, these are famous last words. Just watch. We're going to start doing things and problems are going to crop up, and it means that what I was going to spend here now has to go here. The plan probably will change as we go. So this is kind of like the pre-plan before we start what we are hoping to get done. It's not necessarily what we will get done. So I think the easiest thing to do is bring into each room and just give you an idea of what we're going to do, when it's going to get done, and I don't really have a rough idea. I kind of have a base idea of what it might cost, but it's hard to give you proper costings. I'll give you a rough idea if I can, but it's very rough because until the builder comes out and starts, we don't have an exact cost. But let's go into each room and I will show you and tell you what we're going to get done. So the first area of the house that we have is obviously the hallway. Not a whole lot's going to change in this hallway. The flooring will eventually get replaced, but it's not in the immediate budget. But so far as like structurally speaking, everything's going to remain the same. We will paint it, but other than that, we're not going to do a lot. The hope is if the funds are there, a new front door is going to go in. But other than that, we are not touching the hallway at all. So it will stay pretty much looking like this. I'd love to keep the tile, but we probably won't. The floor is crooked. I don't know, you probably can't see it, but the floor ever so slightly slopes downwards into the bathroom. So we probably won't be keeping this flooring. So the room I'm going to take you into next is the bathroom, because we're getting quite a lot done in the bathroom. So first of all, and you can't see it in the video, but the bathroom slopes right down into this point here. It's kind of like a circle in the sense that all areas of the bathroom slope down to this section here. So the first thing we're going to get done is get the floor leveled. I think there's some kind of self-leveling concrete or something or other that will get done. So that's going to get done. So this floor, this is just lino. This is going to get ripped up. The tiles underneath are going to get ripped up and we are going to line the floor. And this is something the builder is going to do. I'm not touching the bathroom myself. Oh, look, here's me and there's me. It's all a lot of me. I'm not touching the bathroom myself because I don't know anything about plumbing. I would just rather they do it. So it is in the budget that the builder is going to do the bathroom. So warning, ugly toilet. It's from the water because the water comes from the well. So we're going to get a new toilet. Depending on what the builder says, it might get moved from here, but that's where the toilet is. We're going to get a whole new shower unit in. For anyone wondering, this isn't tile. This is plastic. And I have pulled it off before to see what's in there. And it's basically empty space. So what we're going to do is, this is going to go. All the tiling is going to go. Like I said, the floor is going to be changed. But basically, we are going to get a new sink. We're going to get a new toilet, new shower. It's going to be retiled top and bottom. Depending on budget, we might get a new tub. But I would be hopeful to not spend more than about 5,000 in the bathroom. Now, it all depends. But if we can keep it to about 5, that is the plan for this room. So this room is going to look very different not too long from now. So now I'm going to bring you into the first room, kind of off the door when you come in. And we're doing lots to this room. So this room's going to have a big makeover. I'll just open this up. So first things first, the flooring is getting lifted. This won't be the flooring that we have in here. Depending on what condition the concrete floor is in underneath, we may have to get that redone, but the hope is that we won't. The plan is, when the builders come, they are going to stabilize this wall here and make sure there's nothing scary going on. You can see there's a couple holes there, but they're going to make sure this wall's okay. Then what they're going to do is, there's a hot water tank in here. They're going to replace the hot water tank. All the piping is along here to the bathroom. They're going to replace all that. Behind here is the fireplace. I'm not going to drag the wardrobes out of the way, but I'm hoping will look at the fireplace and let me know it's blocked up at the moment if we can open it back up. We'll never have a real functioning fireplace in there, but I'd love to stick an electric heater in there. And then over here we'll get new radiators and also the final kind of pieces of the plaster that are still up around here. Those are going to be basically removed and it'll be replastered. The walls will be repointed. I'll bring it over here so you can see the stonework. I would love to leave this exposed. I will get professional advice if it would be a bad idea insulation wise, if I should have it covered, because it is an external wall. So if it is agreed upon that it would be a really bad idea to have this left exposed, we will insulate it and plasterboard it, but I would love to leave it exposed because it's beautiful. This doorway will remain open. And to bring you a little further out, just to give you a sense of the room. So what we're going to do in this room is, when the new heating is in, new radiators and everything like that, the plan is to have, behind these wardrobes, these will be gone, fireplace, electric fake fireplace here, TV up here if the wall is able to hold it, which hopefully it will be. That's going to remain the hot press. I think maybe they'll say that we can move the hot water tank somewhere else, but that probably is going to remain the hot press with the water tank in there. This wall, if I can, the plan is I'm going to leave the stone exposed in this strip here. Repoint it, have it beautiful. Now obviously we don't have a nice stone wall here, so we're going to plaster all along here, and the plaster will remain along here as well, because that is just a plasterboard wall at the moment. And then if you can imagine it, somewhere in this room we're going to have pull-out couch, a desk, and my computer, because this is going to be the office. And the likelihood is it's going to be a very dark green office. We'll have paneling on the walls and it'll look really nice. I am also going to get this roof replaced, the ceiling, it's just plastic, so we'll get this properly plastered. And I'm going to ask and see if we can move the attic entrance into this room, because at the moment, if you follow me in here, the attic entrance is above the toilet, and that's just not ideal. So if we can, we're going to move it. Because just above the hot water tank, so just above here, right about there, is the cold water tank. That is going to be replaced as well. I'm not going to bring you up in the attic to show you, but the cold water tank needs to be replaced. Again, all the piping up there. So it would just be a lot easier for future reference if the hole to get up there was a little closer, so you don't have to crawl all the way across from the bathroom. So the next room that I'm going to bring you into is the kitchen. And the hope is that not a lot of work will need to be done in here by the builders. The plan is obviously new radiator. All this plaster will be gone. Ideally, if this wall underneath the cement is in good shape, this will be an exposed stone wall. And then obviously that will remain plastered because that's what it is at the moment. I think we'll keep these doors because I kind of like them. And that's kind of it. They're not doing anything else in here. This wall will be coming down more than likely, but that I'll talk to you about in a few minutes. Eventually, when there's money, and this isn't part of the builder's plan, this is something that I'm going to do myself when I have money again, the fridge is going to be moved to this corner here. These are going to come down. This is all coming out. And what we'll have is presses, oven, presses, sink probably is going to stay there, a nice Belfast sink, press, and then fridge. We'll have kind of like a little press above the fridge and then open shelves along here. Probably a range hood or whatever needs to go above the oven, and then obviously more shelves there. In the middle, we're going to have a nice big island that'll take up probably most of that floor area. And over here, there won't be a table and chairs. We're probably going to have like a nice kind of locker, potentially one of the lockers that are in the living room at the moment. So that's the plan for in here. And then we'll have our nice big radiator, our exposed wall, and it'll just be beautiful. I would love to keep a similar color blue in here, a nice dark blue. And then the countertops, I'd like them to have that wood effect rather than the kind of fake marbly effect. Now, just off the kitchen, obviously, is this kind of dark little hallway. And I'm very much in two minds about this hallway, and I think I will need advice from the builder. But there's two options. I mean, it can stay a hallway, and that's great. Or alternatively, I'm wondering if I could move this wall outwards a bit so that this is going to be the kind of guest bedroom, if that could be moved. So I'm thinking if I could, we will wall off somewhere maybe there and then have the doorway into the bedroom here. So you'd step in, you'd be in the bedroom, and then this little bit of wall here would be gone, but it just depends on if it's structural. It will have to be up to the builder on what we do with this. But if you can imagine, this might be part of the bedroom. And then obviously this is where the guest room is. So not a lot is going to change in here. There's not a lot going on. They're going to fix up the walls, but this room's actually not too bad. The flooring will be replaced. There'll be a new radiator. But other than that, we're not really changing a whole lot in here. Probably a new ceiling, because we will have a new roof on here, but I'll talk more about that when we go outside. So yeah, not a lot is going to change. I'd love to get a new window, but windows are very expensive. So that might not be a right now thing. But yeah, I would love to bring the room out so it's a little bit bigger and just have that little bit of extra room so that like if the door was over here, then we could put like a dresser here. We could just fit a lot more in here. So that is the plan. And it's obviously where I've been sleeping the last few days. Lovely and toasty in here. So our next stop is the sitting room, and lots is going to change in here. So I'll talk more about this wall when I go outside, but basically the layout is going to be pretty much the same. The plan is this is going to be kind of like a dining nook. The table and chairs are going to move in here. It's going to be a nice little corner, and I just think it's going to look lovely. We will have kind of open space over here, and the plan is in the future, this is like when I have a Christmas tree and stuff, that'll go here. So that's kind of the plan for this sort of half of the room, but it's going to stay open plan. And then what we're going to have over here, we're going to have a new stove, nice new fireplace, and nice seating area here, coffee table, whatever we can fit. I think my plan is that over here, this will be where like the TV and everything goes. So this will be gone. We might move that to a different part of the house. But yeah, that's what's happening in here. And again, not a lot of that will be done by these builders. It's going to be done after when we have money again. But that is the plan for in here. So like nothing is going to really change. Just we're going to have it laid out a little bit differently. Like I said, kind of a dining nook over here. Christmas tree eventually over there, maybe year round. I love Christmas. Now you stay there, honey. This step is going to be removed. I don't like it. It freaks me out. In here is the utility room, and there will be lots of work done in here. You stay there, sweetie. Now there's always mice in here, so I'm a bit nervous to come in. So we're not going to go too far. But basically, this room needs to be insulated and plasterboarded. I don't know if I'll be doing that or if they'll do that. We'll see what's in the budget. The ceiling obviously needs to be replaced because it's not great. But the main thing that they're going to do is they are going to replace this flue because it is totally rusted through and it lets the water in every time it rains. So that has to be replaced. That's what they're going to do in here. So that's this room. So the next room, actually, I didn't speak about it. Before we go into the bedroom, another thing they're going to do is any walls that have any problems, they are going to patch that up. And then obviously they're going to re-plaster and re-insulate this kind of area. Actually, this whole area did not have any insulation, so it's going to get some insulation and that'll be great. So now moving into the main bedroom. So this is going to be my room. The doorway is going to stay here as it is. Basically for this room, the plan is all the plasterboard is going to be taken down, all across here. Ideally, this is going to be exposed stone. And then the rest, I think we're going to have it plasterboarded with insulation, because obviously this is the bedroom. We need to keep this room dry and warm. So we might have this section of the wall exposed if the stone is nice, but it probably isn't. So it's probably going to be plasterboarded. There'll be new floors, but that's something I'm going to do eventually when I have money again. Eventually there will be like a little fake fireplace here, TV above, like little built-ins just beside it. And then there's going to be like basically like a bookcase here that will open. So it'll be like a little secret door into the office in the next room. So the office is also going to double up as a gaming room because I love playing video games. So it will also be a gaming room, and it'd be nice that I can just kind of go in. And I think in my head, you'll just push the bookcase and it'll open up and into the next room. But that's all future plans. That's not something the builder is going to be doing. So they are going to just basically be making this like structurally sound. I think repointing or potentially helping me, well, I'll probably help them repoint. I'll probably get like one little section done and they'll get the whole house done. But that is what will be happening in here. They'll be re-insulating it, and they will be plastering it and stuff like that. If there's money, it depends how much money the other kind of structural stuff is. So on top of those kind of like little structural bits, basically what they're going to get done as well is the whole house is getting rewired. We're getting a new heating system because there's currently no heating. So we're going to get an oil boiler and radiators in the rooms. And we are also going to get eventually a new stove, but that's probably not a right now thing. That we'll see where the budget is. It just depends how much everything costs. That's the problem. We're going into it with an idea, and then if anything comes up, the budget has to drastically change. But basically, on top of kind of plasterboarding and fixing up the walls and everything like that, they are going to heat, plumb, and rewire the whole place. So those are going to get done. The rest of the stuff that we're doing, and it's going to eat up almost all the budget, is the outdoors. So let me bring you outside and I can kind of show you and explain to you what the plan is outside. Alrighty, so we're outside now. Hopefully you can hear me. One of my neighbours is doing something in his shop, so you might not be able to. But first things first, we're going to start with the back wall because that is what's going to eat up actually like the biggest chunk of this budget, I think. So you can't really see it, but I'll bring you a little closer to show you. In the pre-purchase survey, it was noted that the back wall is bulging. It's quite hard to see, but the wall leans ever so slightly this way. And when you go a little closer, sections of the wall have this vertical cracking that just doesn't look too great. When you come around here, it's not as bad on this side, but the house is crooked on this side as well. It's just not straight. The front of the cottage goes this way, but then the back of the cottage comes back this way. So the concern is we're going to get a new roof on this cottage, and these back bulging walls are not going to be able to hold it. So the plan is, this is how they're going to fix this problem, they think. Basically from around here, they're going to take down all this wall, all the way over. They're going to leave me wallless, but they're going to take it down all the way over to about here, to the doors. And let me just turn you around. So we're going to be looking at from here all the way to there and across is going to be gone. And they are basically, the plan is, they're going to check for the foundation first and make sure that this actually does definitely need to be done. But they need to dig into the foundation and put proper foundation in for these walls. And then they're going to rebuild a double wall. So at the moment, it's just a single block wall. And they're going to do, I think, now this is all I think because I don't really know, but they're going to do a double block wall, insulate it from roughly here to the other side, to where it meets the old part of the cottage. What they're also going to do while they do that, they're going to block up a little bit of this doorway. These doors are like an unusual size, And it just depends on the size of the doors we want to put in, but potentially they're going to block up a little bit of this doorway, and we're going to have a sliding door here. French doors unfortunately just don't work for us because of the winds. The whole point of a French door is to have it open, and it's lovely, but as you can probably see, at some point or another my French doors have blown open and broken. And unfortunately we are in a bit of a wind tunnel here. The wind whips up along here and whips out through there, and the doors are the casualty. An alternative, we could get French doors that open inwards, but that kind of defeats the purpose of the French doors because they're supposed to open outwards and give you like outdoor indoor space. So we're going to get a nice sliding door here. So potentially this will have to be closed up a little bit to fit a standard sized sliding door, but it depends on the door. So that's what's getting done here. So bring you a little bit further back now, and I'm showing you the roof because the roof has to get replaced. The back of the roof is not up to standard. The timbers that are in the roof are not big enough or strong enough, and the roof at one point or another did blow from back to front. So the entire back of the roof has to get new timbers in that are the proper size and stronger, and then a new metal roof will be laid on top of that and properly battened into the wall, which it isn't at the moment. Now that's going to be considerably heavier than the roof that's on there at the moment, which is why we have to make sure the walls underneath it are able to hold that roof and keep it stable. So that's what we're doing with the roof. Also, while we're back here, you can see guttering. It's in terrible condition, so the guttering is going to be fully replaced as well. And then I'll just take you over here a little bit. You can probably see, but I'll get a bit closer. So the utility room roof also needs to be replaced because it's in bits, so they will be replacing that as well. The hope is that we can keep some of the metal that's on this roof, that it can be reused, but it's possible that it all might have to be replaced. And I forgot to say, when we were in the utility room, that will also be plumbed so that eventually the like washing machine and stuff will be in there. So that's the plan. That is what the immediate budget hopefully will cover, but that is kind of the plan on what needs to be done to the house. That's kind of where we're going to spend our money for the grant, and then once that money is up, we kind of have to just go room by room after that. The hope is that for the most part, the builders will be able to fit all the structural, electrical, plumbing, heating stuff into the budget. And then anything they can't squeeze into that budget will just have to be done when I have money again, basically. So we have about 50,000 to play with. The hope is to squeeze all of that into that 50, but it just depends on what comes up. They could take the roof off and find major problems that are going to take another 10, 20,000 to do. The back wall might not be as straightforward as we're hoping for it to be. There might be other structural problems in the house that we haven't found yet. So all those numbers, while they're hopeful to be like, oh, let's hope to only spend about 10 or 11 on the roof. Let's hope to spend only about 8 on the back wall. Let's hope to only spend 5 in the bathroom, 8 on the electrics, 10 on the plumbing. That's the hope. But it is very possible that this is not going to be what we can get done. The priority, what I need to get done, is the roof, the back wall, the electrics, and the heating. If we can't replace the bathroom, we can't replace the bathroom. That's going to save us 5,000 or 6,000. If I can't afford them to do the plastering and insulation, then that comes out of the budget. What we're really trying to get done is the big stuff. So the roof, the back wall, heating, plumbing, electrics. But if we can't get that done, we can't get all of that done. We just have to try to do what we can. It means that when the builders are finished, we're still going to be in pretty much an unfinished house. It will have hopefully the services and the strong back wall and the strong roof and everything like that. But it won't be painted. It won't have floors. It won't, have a new kitchen or anything nice like that. That's going to fall on me to do little bit by little bit when I get the time and when I get the money. So it's not for the faint-hearted, and I think when I bought the house, I went into it quite naively. I didn't realise, A, there was going to be structural problems, B, there was going to be electrical problems, or C, there wouldn't be any heating, because when we bought the house, none of that really came up. But we got it cheap enough. It does mean that the mortgage that I have on the house is lower, and the hope is that when I'm older, I will be debt-free in a lovely, cozy, rebuilt house that's gonna last hopefully another 200 years, if not longer. That's the goal, to build the house back up so that I don't have to worry when I'm older and my income is a lot lower. I want to get all of this paid for now so I can be as self-sufficient as possible and not worry when I'm elderly. So that's the plan. That's the plan for the house. We're going to spend the first 50 and get as much of the big stuff done as possible, and it's all going to be done by the builders. I'm not touching the roof, I'm not touching the walls, I'm not touching the plumbing, the heating, the electrics. I'm not doing it. I know people have said before that I need to get professionals in, and I know that. You don't have to tell me. I know professionals have to come in and do this work. I'm happy to do the demolition. I'm happy to do a little repointing of the stones. I'm happy to do, ripping up the floors. I'm happy to do bits like that that aren't going to completely destroy the house. Unlike one or two comments that have been in some of my videos from some rude people saying that I am destroying my house. That's the point right now. We're in the demolition stage. We have to destroy the house at the moment. But yeah, the hope is that by spring, the main guts of the house will be done. Won't be painted, won't be pretty, but the guts of the house will be done. It'll be heated, it'll be wired, it'll have a nice stable roof that I don't have to worry about every storm that rips through. Because there are some storms, and climate change is very real, and I can see it, and I think a lot of people are now starting to see it. So I want to make sure this house has a fighting chance against these Atlantic storms that have been ripping through. But yeah, so that's the plan. Hopefully we'll start end of November, start of December, have the money ready to go. Just need confirmation from the builder he has time to squeeze me in. And then yeah, it's all go, go, go. So I hope you're enjoying this. I'm hoping that you'll enjoy what we do and how the place turns out. And I'm excited to get started because I feel like you've all been so patient with me. I've been so impatient, but you guys have been so patient with how slow it's been to get anything started. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for following along and for giving good guidance and tips and tricks and just kind comments when there's hard days and the kind comments are needed the most. You guys are always there to leave the kind comments. So thank you so much for following us along. But yeah, that's the plan. That's probably the next 6 months. We're going to see all the big stuff get done. I can't wait to have heating. I can't wait to have the electrics done. Yeah, it's so exciting. I'm so excited. I'm nervous. I'm worried about budget. I'm worried about problems that will come up. But I feel like I've got a good team behind me now, with the engineer, the builders that I'm hoping to get in. I think this could go well, but I'm nervous. So we'll have to wait and see. And then when that's done, when the big stuff is done, kind of what's next? What's happening after that? What will I have to make a video about other than cutting the grass? Then it's going to be the DIY part. It's going to be me doing, the painting, the tiling, the flooring. I'm dreading the flooring because I like that nice, is it herringbone or something like that? And it's kind of intricate. Dreading trying to put that together. Tiling, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I am dreading it and looking so forward to it and have accepted the challenge. And hopefully the next 6 months doesn't give me an absolute mental breakdown, because it might. Once that's up, once we get the big stuff done and I start doing the DIY stuff, I'll start looking into potentially solar panels, getting a new well dug and a new water system put in. That's kind of all in the latter half of the plan. But if we can get this first kind of 6 months, this first 50,000 spent, which I think we'll spend it quite quickly, we'll be doing well. So that's the plan, that's the update, that's the SCA. If you have any questions, please do let me know in the comments. Yeah, we're getting started. We're gonna start really making this place look good. I don't know how it's gonna look so far as videoing it. There won't be electricity here for a while. There won't be heating or plumbing or anything like that. And I have to be in Dublin for work half of the week. And if I don't have the internet and electricity, I can't work from down here. So I don't know how I'm going to get it filmed to show you what's going on. It might just have to be like a weekly update on like, here's what they did while I was up in Dublin, trying to get more money to pay them. So I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm excited, and yeah, we're just going to get started. So I hope you enjoyed this little tour of how the house is looking at the moment and what the plans are. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. And like I said, do leave a like and a comment if you have anything, suggestions or anything you think about that. Yeah. Anyway, bye from me, Morrigan. Morrigan's here. She's like, lunch, please. I don't think I said it's November the 2nd. We're at the house. We're going to have a little bit of lunch now, and then we're driving home for the day. So kind of dreading the drive home, actually. Not really looking forward to it, but it has to be done. So anyway, we will see you the next time in the next video, and talk to you then. Bye bye.